Hey, it's Abby, welcome back to my channel. I apologize for the state of my face. You can tell spring is coming when Abby can't stop sneezing. I did take allergy medicine, but, whatever. So, yesterday, I was out in the world and I found the Cheryl Blossom pop figure at Sunrise, and I just really love Riverdale. I do. I love Riverdale. And it got me thinking about Cheryl and how I really have all the right pieces to cosplay her. Unfortunately, I don't think I could cosplay her, at a convention, because Cheryl is one of the characters I think only works well with, the whole rest of the cast. I really think Jughead is probably the only one that's got, the look where you could pull him off by himself at a con, but definitely not Cheryl. But I kind of wanted to try her makeup anyway, so I thought I would do a video about it and then talk to you about Riverdale, because I got all the way caught up last night to where we are now when this video was uploading. And I don't have any Riverdale friends, so I figured I would blab at you about Riverdale while I try to do my makeup like Cheryl, and then it's like I have a Riverdale friend, but you're watching this, but really I'm just sitting in this room talking to myself. It does bug me, though, that the pop figure doesn't have red lips. That's kind of Cheryl's thing, and I've seen them put lips on other pop figures, so come on. So anyway, let's get started. I already realized I've made a huge mistake and left my brushes behind the camera. One of the nice things about Cheryl for a video like this is that her makeup is pretty straightforward, so it shouldn't take a lot of work. So like I said, I got all caught up in Riverdale last night, and I was only, I think I had barely started Season 2 before last night, and now I'm all the way caught up. And I have to say, Season 1 of Riverdale was good, but it was kind of the main cast dealing with all these super big issues, Betty, her family falling apart, and also trying to solve all these crimes, and Jughead dealing with a torn apart family and poverty, and Veronica's dad in jail and all that, and then Archie had just classic Troy Bolton syndrome where he was do I sing or do I sport? So Season 2 definitely has a very different vibe than Season 1, but I have some complaints. First of all, I don't know where crazy intense activist Jughead came from, and why he thinks he can solve all the world's problems all the time. And also, why did Betty think just going out and finding her brother and just bringing him home would be a good idea? I feel like she maybe should have got to know him first a little bit. I mean, even if he's blood, I feel like having someone you don't know live in your house with you is a bad idea. Veronica is basically devoid of all kind of, character aspects at this point, because all she does is talk about her dad every 5 seconds. She's like, well, my father, Hiram Lodge. And that's not even taking into account the fact that I think her and Archie have, the dumbest relationship ever. They just don't even seem like they really have any kind of connection. They just have sex a lot. There's no chemistry there. As much as Betty and Jughead as characters drive me nuts, at least they have, really great chemistry, and they really seem to get along, and they have actual conversations occasionally. I just hate the art. Oh, I grabbed the contour one instead of the correcting one. That was almost a disaster. Anyway, the show has become a lot more intense in that way. It's very much so, about corruption and Hiram being a mobster and that sort of thing. But what really drives me nuts is it's very much so Archie and Veronica and Jughead and Betty's show. They're kind of the 4 main characters. They're in every scene, every 5 seconds of life they're on camera. And I just find those characters to be in the Riverdale way, to be kind of boring. I find them to be very lackluster characters, and I just don't enjoy watching them. And then almost completely separately is the Cheryl Blossom storyline. And Cheryl is who they keep giving all the interesting story stuff to. It's I feel like the writers are just okay, so we need to have another teen angsty yelling at my parents scene, so we'll give that one to Veronica this time instead of to Archie. But then, we should really tackle this big, world social issue, so we'll give that one to Cheryl again. Within this season so far, Cheryl has been the victim of an attempted sexual assault, and now we find out that she's gay. Not only does she have, the world's worst family situation ever, not to mention all the stuff in the first season with the fact that her brother was murdered, and, she finds out her parents are, bigwigs in the drug trade. Her dad hangs himself in their house, so she burns the house down. But in this season, her mom is now a lady of the night, a courtesan, if you will. And super unsupportive, just like the worst mother on the planet, like no emotional connection there at all. She's got kind of a thing for Tony, which is my favorite thing that's happened in the show, and her mother sends her away to live with the nuns in the like convent where the Coopers sent Polly when she was pregnant. But it's not because she's pregnant. They're not just gonna like take care of her and the babies. No. This is because she's gay, which means they're gonna try to put her through conversion therapy. And it's so frustrating because let's say an episode is 40 minutes long or whatever. They'll do 38 minutes of some Archie, Betty, Jughead arguing baloney, and then they'll go to Cheryl where all the actual interesting stuff is happening for like 4 seconds. It's like, oh yeah, Cheryl's mother and uncle just tried to kill Cheryl's grandmother, but we're only going to talk about that for like a second and a half. And it's just so weird to me because now, like I said, Cheryl is being kept as like a separate entity. Like she's almost like a completely different show within the show because whatever connection she had to the rest of the characters is like slowly going away unless they intend to put her and Tony together and then make her a serpent, which would be rad. What I'm hoping is that now that Tony kind of knows that Cheryl is missing, if you will, because Penelope gave her the baloney excuse of she went to an all-girls boarding school in Switzerland. Like, yeah, okay. Hopefully Tony will like raise hell and do like a search party and their main cast will all go out into the world looking for Cheryl. KJ Apa broke his actual hand in real life, punching through ice to save Cheryl. So I hope that they go looking for her when she goes missing. But that's a big hope because they seem pretty much set right now on the whole world against the lodges. Rightfully so. I would be against the lodges. They also don't show enough F.P. Jones for my liking. He is beautiful, and he seems like the world's greatest dad. They really just spend too much time focusing on Betty and her weird brother Chick for my liking. Like, that whole storyline takes up 80% of the show, and I really just don't think it has to. Who care, you know? Who care? Cheryl's pretty fair, so that's why I have this light makeup on, and I did my best to color correct out the redness from my allergies. And not to mention the fact that Madeleine Petsch, who plays Cheryl, is like the most naturally beautiful woman on the planet. I think it's dumb that she has to keep addressing plastic surgery rumors because whose frickin' business is it? But like, she'll show you photos of her as a kid. And she's got like giant beautiful lips even when she was a small one. She was just like sculpted from clay by Zeus in the Amazons. Didn't realize my camera had shut off, but all I did was fill in my eyebrows. My eyes are red and watering again, but that's because of my allergies. It's not because of my makeup. Just welcome to my life, that's what it is. Now, Madeleine Petsch is very obviously a natural redhead. I mean, look at her. She's a redhead, so I am clearly not. So my eyebrows look still brown. But if I have to go into the Naked Heat palette and get like sort of a warmy brown to just make them look a little bit redder, I can do that, but I'll wait till the end. I want to contour, but like just a little bit. My favorite thing about Cheryl as a character is just like, well, not maybe my favorite thing, but one of my favorite things is just how, like, stupidly glam everything is all the time. Her pajamas are, like, black and lacy. I mean, I often hate the dialogue in Riverdale because I'm like, no actual teenagers talk like this. But Cheryl's just, like, fits her personality so much that she would use, like, words that are above her age in her sentences and stuff. I just feel like the whole Riverdale aesthetic doesn't work for a lot of the other characters, but it works for her. Speaking of other characters, okay, I find it weird that Archie would be as in with the lodges as he is, but whatever, I mean, like Mommy Ringwald said, Veronica's his first real relationship, and, you know, I always just expect it from teenage boys that they'll like shit on their parents without thinking, right? But I'm very surprised at like Hiram because he literally had like a 16-year-old boy who has no ties to that family other than the fact that he's dating Hiram's daughter. And like I said, they're like 16. What relationship at 16 lasts forever? Like none. So he's like brought this 16-year-old boy completely into his family, told him all his like mob secrets, had him sign a blood oath to show loyalty to that family. And I'm like, this is way above Archie's pay grade. He's a 16-year-old boy. He's still wrestling with his Troy Bolton syndrome. When that scene happened and they were like chopping each other's hands open and like spilling blood onto the paper, I was like, this is so extreme. What kind of vampire Lestat bullshit? Why does Hiram Lodge specialize in making such weird decisions? He's supposed to be this big wheel and a dealing, illegal making businessman. And he had a 16-year-old boy sign a blood oath. Not just any 16-year-old boy, the son of the guy that his wife cheated on him with. Because let's not forget that happened. And if they're really set on trying to convince us that FP is not Chick's dad, they're doing a really bad job. They even had, what's her name? Alice Cooper say that FP was not Chick's dad. And I was like, I would potentially believe Alice when she says that if Riverdale wasn't so prone to taking the obvious or the easy way out. The Miss Grundy storyline really freaking frustrates me. Because here they had this, really cool, Black Widow type character. And they did nothing with her, you know? She could have very easily been Jason Blossom's killer. That would have been rad. She could have very easily had, a better connection to the Black Hood, but nope. Instead, I just feel like Miss Grundy's whole storyline was just a bunch of wasted time. I'll be mad about that one forever, probably. From far away, my skin looks really good right now, but if you get close up, because I'm all allergy-y, it actually doesn't look very good at all. It actually looks kind of awful. That's okay, though. So now, really, all that's left is, a little bit of highlighter, lashes, and lips. Now, Cheryl's skin and her makeup overall usually looks really natural, with the exception of her lips. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm really just wearing a lot of face makeup in an attempt to hide how red and puffy I am from my allergies. A little dot on the end of my nose like all the real YouTubers do. Okay, cool. So the ColourPop eyeliners are so blendable that I can just smudge it with my finger. So now we're going to go with some mascara. Usually I would tightline first, but I don't think they tightline for her. Her eyes always look very, neutral and, nice and not even very harsh. So I actually had to, scour my collection for a mascara that's not too thickening. Because a lot of my mascaras really thicken up your lashes, and hers are very, curled and, not thin, but they look natural still. I'm going to end up with way more intense lashes than she has, even just because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to natural lashes, but I'm going to do my best. Like that. Cool. Okay, so before I do lips, maybe warm up the eyebrows a bit, do anything else in makeup, I want to go put on the whole outfit. I have a wig, I have everything. So, give me a sec, I'll be right back. And we back. It's so much easier to see how an outfit is going to look once the right wig is on, you know. I bought this wig from Ardell. It's the Grace. That's the style. It's the same one as the blonde wig I have, except for this is in the shade Crimson instead of Champagne, obviously. And I bought it at Fan Expo 2 years ago, I think, when I wore Poison Ivy. And I wore it to replace that Poison Ivy wig. And this is the first time I took it out of the bag. It's a little too red for Cheryl because Madeline Petch is a natural redhead, and I am very clearly not. But I think it gets the point across. But now with the wig on, I can definitely see that A, my eyebrows are not warm enough. So I grabbed the Naked Heat Palette to add a little bit of warmth to my eyebrows. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. Just so it picks up some red tones, you know? And I also think, even though I don't know that Madeline wears fake eyelashes, I'm going to put on the magnetic falsies, and then we'll do lips. And this is the completed look. The lip liner is MAC Cherry. Because of the color of the wig, I feel a little more Jessica Rabbit and a little less Cheryl Blossom, but I did my best. I mean, the whole outfit is pretty much Cheryl Blossom too, so I mean, there's only so much I can do. I don't have quite the wig collection that I would like to have yet. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it and you like this idea where I kind of do a makeup and look inspired by a character and just ramble about the show forever, let me know, because I have a couple of other characters that come to mind immediately that I can totally do this with. Liv from iZombie comes to mind immediately, so definitely let me know if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.